Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another grouping of questions in the Fiduciary Fund's financial statements. Let's jump right in. The city of Breckenridge collects a deposit from new citizens when they purchase a home. This one-time deposit per homeowner is $100, and it is returned to the homeowners when they move away. However, some homeowners move away without claiming their deposits. In which funds are these deposits accounted for? All right, let's take a look. I've also got this wonderful chart that you've seen over and over. I want you to have this mentally tattooed on your brain. And let's think about what's going on here. Now, this is the government holding someone else's money. That should initially and immediately make you think, okay, this is likely going to be a fiduciary fund. Because fiduciary funds are when the government is holding someone else's money or assets or something of that nature. So that's going to cross off general fund and internal service fund, because the general fund belongs in governmental and internal service is proprietary. All right, now, is it custodial or private purpose? This is now going to come down to how well do you know examples of each type. Custodial funds, these types of funds are going to be when the government's holding assets for another government. So if the federal government gives funds to a local municipality and that is for hurricane relief, those funds will be held in the custodial fund. Or if the city is collecting taxes for the state or the federal government, it'll be held in the custodial fund. So this is held for another governmental entity. So that's not the case here. Now, private purpose, I want you to see private purpose and think of the phrase abandoned property. So this is abandoned property. This is our answer here is private purpose. Now, what is abandoned property? It's deposits given to the city or the town, whatever it is, and they're forgotten about because it's $100. If you lived there for 10 years, you probably forgot about the random $100 you gave. Maybe you didn't. But that would be accounted for in the private purpose fund. Additionally, let's say someone passes away and there's no one they left their belongings to. This would also account for, that's not something you would see in an example in the test. It's maybe a little morbid. You actually see a good amount of morbid things on reg, right? It's a lot of death, a lot of stuff like that. But that's just another example, kind of bringing it to your attention. It's abandoned property that does not have a home somewhere else. The government takes it, and what do they do with it? Oh, I don't know. They probably don't spend it very efficiently. All right, moving on to our next question. Well, we've got Los Angeles. All right, that's a real city now. Breckenridge was as well. Sometimes we use real cities here. LA recently received pass-through state funding from the state of California for resident families who were affected by a natural disaster. Los Angeles does not administer the funding, nor does it fund the families itself. In which fund should LA record the funding? All right, now, again, same thought process. This is the city of Los Angeles holding funding for another government, for another governmental unit, entity. So it's not going to be governmental. It's not going to be proprietary. That crosses out internal service. That crosses out general. Now we've got custodial or trust fund. All right, now trust fund is pretty vague, right? Because we've got private purpose trust fund, investment trust fund, pension trust fund. So this likely wouldn't be an answer. However, if, let's say, a question said, all right, which of these is a fiduciary fund? And let's say letter B wasn't there, that would be the best answer. But generally speaking, this is not going to refer to a particular type of fund in the fiduciary funds, but it's a general term that you could see as an answer. All right, so custodial fund, as I mentioned in the previous example, LA does not administer the funding, nor does it fund the family itself. LA is basically just the custodian of the state of California's money. It simply passes the money along. It does not recognize it as revenue or other financing sources itself. It is just a pass-through. It is the pipeline for the money to get to the family. So that is going to be custodial fund. Final answer, letter B. And we are good to go here. That wraps us up for our questions here on the fiduciary funds financial statements. Hope you all had a good time. I know I did. Let's keep it lively, keep it fun, and I'll see you next time.